Alright, ladies and gentlemen, another day, another cut content by AniNews. Shout out to you, AniNews, once again. Thank you so much for the cut content. Season 2, Episode 7. This one is called The Actual Reason Behind Subaru's Capture. Maybe more info on what actually happened, on why Subaru got captured. I'm very excited. Let's see what happened in the fucking light novel. Let's go.
Episode has been mainly focused
Wait. Beginning.
A lot of the discussion surrounding this episode has been mainly focused on the heartfelt ending revolving around Subaru and Otto.
Okay.
But beyond that was a much more revealing turn of events. One that properly explains why exactly it was that Subaru was taken prisoner. Not only that, but there were also plenty of subtleties excluded from this episode that go towards further developing the greater mystery.
Ah, okay, wait, let me make sure. Hey, subtitles this time. Okay, let's go.
Especially the parts with regards to Garfield's sudden change in attitude, Beatrice's affiliation to the gospel, and Ryuzu's mysterious lookalike. So let's take a closer look at each of these as we go through what the anime left out from the novels.
Let's go.
Let's get started. Episode 32, Friend, covering Chapter 2 to Chapter 4 of Volume 11 of the light novel.
Okay.
Starting in the Forbidden Library, the way Subaru had expressed his anger towards Beatrice was a little bit more violent than what we saw in the anime.
Oh.
His questions and pleas were all made as he held Beatrice's throat as if trying to choke her.
What? Excuse me? Why was that left out? Why did they change that, I wonder? Just like these subtle changes that I feel like it seems like it's less intense in the anime on purpose. There was also the Echidna argument when Subaru was like, it was season 2 episode, it was episode 5. It was like after, yeah, when he saw Echidna in the classroom. Apparently in the actual like thing, like the actual light novel or the manga, right? It was actually the manga panel that he showed on screen. Subaru was way more intense about it. Like, he was really in Echidna's face when Echidna was talking about if he actually knew about his own parents. So, I don't know. Maybe they're just like, they're changing stuff up in the actual anime. I wonder why. Less intensity? Maybe it's too much? I don't know.
This wasn't just because a new checkpoint could have been set, though. Subaru also felt that Beatrice had just taken away the only thing that he was good for. By letting the opportunity to die get away from him, Subaru was now nothing more than the worthless person that he always made himself out to be. I mean, it was quite literally his only job to use his life as if it was expendable whenever it was necessary. And this was certainly one of those moments. But that was something that neither Beatrice nor anyone else would ever be able to understand.
Pretty much,
so,
yeah.
When it became clear that she wasn't going to help him return by death, Subaru smashed the wooden stool that Beatrice was always using as her seat.
What? Bro, why is stuff like this being left out? Run that back.
No one else would ever be able to understand. So, when it became clear that she wasn't going to help him return by death, Subaru smashed the wooden stool that Beatrice was always using as her seat.
Whoa.
He picked it up and threw it against the bookshelf so that he could use one of the sharp fragments to end his life.
Oh.
Had he completed the job, then it would have been the third time that he's done this, each of which marked a significant point throughout his lengthy journey.
Yeah, it seems like every time he kills himself, it seems like every time he kills himself, it's when he truly has no choice. He doesn't, it's not the first thing that he thinks of, obviously, because normally he doesn't have to kill himself, he just dies. Like, someone just kills him, so he doesn't really have to put any thought if he kills himself or not most of the time.
And each of which were all for different reasons.
Yeah.
The first time was to try and fix something that couldn't be undone. The second was out of remorse so that he could try and save Rem after she'd been taken away from him. And this time it would have been due to his own personal resentment.
Yeah.
Indignation that he felt towards himself for not being powerful enough to fulfill the only duty that he had. With not many options left, the only thing Subaru could think in this moment was how much he wanted to die.
Jesus, that's so fucked. God, it's all like, okay, I keep saying like this whole return by death, like oh, just kill yourself, like oh, it's fine, we just reset anyway. You guys obviously know that I mean it like in a actual just like plot sense, like yeah, he's gonna kill himself, yeah. But obviously it's not easy. It's such a crazy psychological like this whole return by death thing where if he dies, he pretty much comes back instantly. There's no lag. I'll also explain the last cut content. There's no lag between the death, so he just dies and he instantly comes back. Like I don't know how Subaru has made it this far, man. You think any other person, any like normal person, will be able to make it this far? I don't know. I think Subaru's just built different.
I mean, death was the only thing left that had any meaning.
Jesus.
Once again, though, Beatrice had intervened to take even that away from him. She was acting in a way that was far beyond his own comprehension. Subaru saw absolutely no reason for her to go to such lengths to stop him from dying. Because of this, there were so many questions that he wanted to ask, but he neither had the energy nor the understanding to do so. As he looked around in disarray, that's when he spotted the Gospel. It's important to note that this book wasn't one that simply fell off the shelves. No, it was being kept hidden within the stool that Subaru had just destroyed.
Oh my god, that's why it's there. That's why it just spawned there. That's why, okay, no, that's why it didn't spawn there. I thought it was just there. He destroyed the stool. It was hidden within the stool. Subaru destroyed the stool, and that's where the book came out. Okay, so it wasn't just laying on the floor there. Huh? W details. AniNews, you're so good at twin.
What this meant was that this book was something that Beatrice had been actively trying to hide.
Oof.
A fact that briefly made Subaru completely forget the horrible state that he found himself in. He now wanted to know why Beatrice had what was pretty much the witch cult's Bible. As he asked, he recalled what Betelgeuse had previously taught him about the Gospel.
There we go! I mentioned this! Yeah, Betelgeuse! Go back to Betelgeuse!
How it was pretty much a sacred book that provided the reader with a bunch of prophecies. Prophecies that the witch cult felt that they had to follow to the letter. On the other hand, Beatrice made it clear that the reason she follows the Gospel is because of a person she refers to as Mother.
Yeah, Mother! I swear to fuck, bro. If it's the fucking Witch of Envy... Yo, I'm gonna die on that hill, bro. That's my fucking theory. If I swear Mother has to be Witch of Envy, I'll fucking die on this hill, bro. Mother has to be Witch of Envy, right? There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way a great spirit, someone this strong as Beako, who is obviously lived for so long. There's no fucking way that Mother isn't the fucking Witch of Envy or some shit, dude. There's no way.
In fact, there was actually a line omitted from the anime where Beatrice states that her connection to Mother is everything.
All of Betty is for Mother's sake. For Betty, her connection to Mother is everything. This was cut from the anime, okay.
Implying that the thing maintaining that connection was the Gospel itself. Now, when Beatrice flat out denied the existence of any form of relationship between herself and Subaru, this was arguably what hurt him the most.
Yeah, exactly. I mentioned that too. Like, imagine how Subaru feels after hearing that. Like, imagine hearing that. Like, dude, like I thought we were cool, man. We've had so many interactions, bro.
Probably what hurt him the most. I mean, throughout the entirety of Season 1, we were shown time and time again how Beatrice was the one person that Subaru could open up to.
Exactly.
Back when his mind was on the verge of breaking, she was the only person that he could turn to help him bring himself back together.
Exactly. I'm laughing at the fucking spinning Beako. I remember that. Literally, Beako was the reason why Subaru hasn't, like, pretty much lost it. The reason that he was pretty much able to keep being on the right track, because I'm not gonna say he was mentally stable, because no, he definitely was not mentally stable. He went through so much, but he still stayed on the right track, because obviously he kept getting checkpoints and everything seemed to be going how it was supposed to. So that's another theory I have. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that every event is already set in stone. So Subaru was on the right track. Obviously, it's very different being on the right track and being mentally stable. So I think Betty over here was just able to keep Subaru from actually losing it completely, though. So I think Betty definitely has a big part in Subaru
breaking,
like being
she
okay.
was the only person that he could turn to help him bring himself back together.
Yeah.
He truly felt that they were at least something akin to friends. But now Subaru knew that that was nothing more than a fantasy on his part.
Damn.
A top 10 anime betrayal, if you will.
Top 10. Yeah, top 10 anime betrayals. Fucking Beako. Fucking Betty, man. Fuck.
Subaru would have several of his limbs chopped off before finally awaking in the next loop.
Jesus.
After realizing that everything wasn't lost, Subaru couldn't help but feel a significant amount of relief. Despite Amelia suffering through the trial right in front of him, there was a certain comfort that came from seeing it happen.
There it is. I mentioned that too. I did mention the comfort part. Okay, I don't know if it's specifically this, but I did mention that does Subaru feel like more comfort the more he resets in the same events? Like, obviously he knows how every event's gonna happen and how he can change every event that's pretty much in front of him. So that's why he like feels this certain comfort, or like he's chill, very calm when everything happens now because he's already seen it before. He's played these games before. Otto also pointed it out. Otto pointed that out. He was like, bro, why are you so calm? It's weird. Everything is going to shit. Everything is weird. Like everything is like Emilia's suffering and all. You're acting all calm and collected. Like, yeah.
Subaru knew that this was a practically insane point of view to have.
Yeah,
but
it is.
These were just the true feelings that he currently possessed at the moment. It was after he organized his thoughts that he finally decided to wake up Amelia. His plan of action was to take this next loop one event at a time. If he truly intended to save everyone, then he needed to figure out what the right sequence of events was. This was something that would only be possible by going through each situation as it unfolded. So, as he held Amelia in his arms with all these new feelings of determination, there was one very important thing that he didn't notice the entire time.
Oh.
His face was completely devoid of any emotion.
Oh my god. His face was completely devoid of any emotion. So what? This is another thing. Maybe he dies so much. He sees death so much. He sees all these events happen so much where people die or people suffer. And maybe he just doesn't feel anything at this point. Maybe because of this whole resetting factor, he doesn't see anyone dying or suffering as a bad thing because he can just reset it anyway. He just sees it as something like an event that he needs to get over. Like he has no emotion, no emotion in his face, and what the fuck?
Now, when he exited the tomb, Subaru noticed a few immediate changes to this loop in comparison to the previous one.
Yeah,
because he had been staring at Ram's face for an unusually long period of time, this prompted her to ask why that was. Of course, we know it's because of her fate from the previous loop. But since that was something that Subaru couldn't tell her, he simply said that it was because she had a pretty face.
Stop. What kind of excuse is that, bro? Even though it's true, would Subaru ever say that to Ram? Like, okay, though obviously he was trying to cover up the fact that he saw her die and whatever, right? He had to lie. But I wonder if Ram, like, sees that as sus. Like, what? Okay, Subaru telling me I have a pretty face. Like, that's, like, that's so, like, I feel like out of character, right?
A statement that Ram found to be a bit unsettling.
Yeah, there it is.
It was after this that Subaru would carry Amelia to her bedroom. For some reason, he felt it was the only thing that he could do as a man. I guess the previous loop really had him feeling pretty worthless. So, this was yet another change to the timeline of events. Subaru then left Amelia with Ram while he prepped for his scheduled conversation with Roswaal.
Yep.
And this time he had plenty more questions that he wanted to ask, especially regarding Beatrice. If you remember in the last loop, this was a topic that Roswaal said he couldn't talk about yet.
Yup, bro. This entire conversation, I'm gonna keep hyping up and glazing this entire conversation, bro. This Roswaal and Subaru fucking conversation, episode 5, right? Was it episode? No. Oh, bro, I'm like fucking up the episodes at this point. We're getting so deep into the seasons that I'm like fucking up the episodes. Y'all know what episode I'm talking about. Listen, this conversation between the two of them, it was just so fucking peak. The mystery behind Roswaal is still so fucking massive. Such a big, he's still such a mystery. Yes, I know you guys clarified, or specifically that one person clarified. Yes, he just wants to confront that dragon, right? You know, the whole dragon thing, that's his purpose. But that's all we know so far. That was mentioned in Arc 2, which is a very long time ago. So, I feel like he already knows that every event is going to happen. He says that he's pretty much, you know, set these events to happen. He knows all the events going to happen. I feel like he could, like, see the future or some shit. Maybe he knows about Subaru's return by death. And there's a lot of stuff that he could know.
So, this time Subaru wasn't going to let Roswaal avoid the question.
Yeah.
As he thought about how he was going to approach the situation, Otto noticed that Subaru looked rather busy. He didn't just approach Subaru for being calm like how they said in the anime.
Really?
It's also because Subaru wasn't paying Amelia the attention that he normally would.
It's stuff like this that I wonder why they change up. Like, if you guys have, like, an actual answer, because it's generally confusing to me. It's such a good... Like, what's the difference? Like, what is the reason for changing Subaru and Otto talking there from, you know, being like what did Otto say, like the whole like you're too calm stuff. Yeah. He didn't just approach Subaru for being calm like I said in the anime. It was because he wasn't paying the same attention that he usually pays to Amelia. Subaru wasn't paying Amelia the attention that he normally would. Well, like there's stuff like that. I wonder, why do they change stuff like that? I feel like it would just be a different line, same line. No, I don't know. It's just one line.
He even went so far as to directly tell Otto that he didn't have time to be worrying about her.
Oh!
Which was the exact reason why Otto decided to ask him if he was alright.
That makes so much more sense as why Otto confronted him about that. Run that back. He didn't have time to be worrying about her? That's such a crazy thing to say. Would Subaru normally say that about Amelia? I don't have time to be worrying about her, even though Amelia's like the main like focus for him. He wants to save Amelia, he wants to protect Amelia, so but like saying some shit like this is just weird.
Which was the exact reason why Otto decided to ask him if he was alright.
Yeah.
Something was clearly affecting his current mental state.
Yeah,
something that took greater precedence than even Amelia. While this was likely still the after effects of the trauma from the previous loop, anyone who knew Subaru would be able to tell that something about him was off. The only person who couldn't was Subaru himself.
That is so fucking... What a... Yo, AniNews. I think you obviously, you know, write your scripts or whatever, so you say everything correctly, bro. If you write your own shit, like what you're gonna say, bro, holy fire writing. Brother, run that back. That was such a well-written fucking the way he said that shit, the tone and everything, oh my god.
Who knew Subaru would be able to tell that something about him was off. The only person who couldn't was Subaru himself. When Garfield entered the conversation shortly after, this was such an absurd shift in events that Subaru was convinced that each loop was a different Garfield.
My god.
Compared to the last two.
Bro, we have 3 different fucking Garfields, bro. But it makes sense. Like, every fucking set of events, every sequence of events is different. The circumstances are different every single time. That's why Garfield acts differently in these 3 different fucking attempts. Like that, I like it though. It's an amazing. These are amazing details, amazing ways to show that no matter what, because of what happens in each attempt and how Subaru's, you know, way of thinking goes through even though he tries his best to have it happen how it did before, it's gonna be different every single time. That's so cool though.
His opinions and actions never really aligned. There was no distinguishable pattern that he seemed to follow. But as we'll soon find out, there's actually a more solid reason behind this change in behavior. In any case, the fact that—
Was that a spoiler? Have we seen that? Yo, AniNews, calm down. Yo, chill. Well, I already seen it, so we can just go back to it at this point, right? Did I miss this? Nah, I don't know if we've seen this yet. AniNews? As I'm tweaking, maybe I'm tweaking, but yo, be careful, bro. Come on, man.
Actually a more solid reason behind this change in behavior. In any case, the fact that he wanted to talk to Subaru meant that Otto couldn't be there. As he was now, Subaru still considered Otto to be an innocent bystander. He didn't want him to get caught up in their faction's affairs. His intentions with Otto were to always grant him his audience with Roswell and have him returned back to his normal life.
Yeah.
Nothing more. He was always just this merchant that Subaru happened to save once, not really someone that Subaru could see as a friend. So Otto was a bit dejected that he'd been left out yet again, but there wasn't—
Oh, what? Okay, wait. What AniNews just said here, it kind of makes more sense of Subaru's attitude at the end of the last episode, because I was a little confused. I was like, why is Subaru acting like weird? Like what? Like he didn't see Otto as a friend? Yeah. The way that AniNews is putting it like this really just gives me way, like, more understanding, yeah, like...
Always grant him his audience with Roswell and have him returned back to his normal life. Nothing more.
Nothing more.
He was always just this merchant that Subaru happened to save once.
That's so crazy.
Not really someone that Subaru could see as a friend.
Wow.
So Otto was a bit dejected that he'd been left out yet again, but there wasn't really anything that he could do to change that. Now, as Garfield led Subaru through the Lost Woods, Subaru decided to see if he could get some answers about Frederica. During the last loop, because she had willingly chose to engage Elsa, Subaru was now convinced that she was an ally that could be trusted.
Exactly. I mentioned this too. I pretty much, hey, listen. Again, I'm sorry for the aggressiveness on Frederica, the hate, it seems like. Listen, bro. If you're sus, if you're a traitor, I'm gonna be on your ass. I'm gonna be very aggressive. But no. It seems like Frederica is not sus, and she's not a traitor. So, listen. First of all, she's a baddie, alright? My bad. Second, maybe she actually just is a good person. So, my bad, yo. You know, if you're a Frederica fan, rejoice, alright? I'm cool with her now, alright? She's cool. It was also just like, you know, pretty much confirmed. I also said this in the intro of the last video of the reaction. The whole Elsa and Frederica confrontation. When they clashed, right? The attack, when they attacked each other, they would clash. In the middle of the clash, Elsa was like, oh cool, you're a demi-human. I mean, I don't think she would say something like that if she knew Frederica beforehand. And also, I don't think you would fight each other if you had some sort of deal going on. Like, fight each other with no hesitation, it seemed like. So, hey, my bad. I think Frederica's cool. Unless it's just a plot twist. But hopefully not. I think Frederica's just chill.
So, that meant someone else was pulling the strings.
Yeah.
And this was what he was trying to find out. It was information that he would eventually get from Ryuzu. But before she told him about Frederica, Subaru found it to be a bit suspicious that Ryuzu and Garfield would suddenly trust him. I mean, it had only been half a day since they'd met him. Yet here they were sharing information as if he was part of their group. Not to mention that it was very odd that Ryuzu had changed her outfit between the time of their previous meeting and now.
Right.
Anyway, Subaru would then go on to share his ideas so long as they promised not to tell anyone else about it. It was a pretty ironic situation considering that Subaru himself found things like promises difficult to uphold. But he went ahead and claimed that someone had recently taught him of their importance. So, although other circumstances had led him to hate stuff like pacts and vows, he now knew that promises were the one thing that he should try to maintain no matter what.
I mean, it makes sense, especially in a world like this. You kind of just have to adapt. Maharaga. You kind of just have to, like, at this point, just adapt and accept the fact that oaths, pacts, you know, all this shit is actually important. Like, it actually fucking matters in this world. Even though, normally, in, like, on, like, a place like Earth, it wouldn't fucking matter. But, yeah, in this fucking isekai world or whatever the fuck, it's really a big deal. Hell, even a normal promise. We saw, he broke the whole, like, promise of, like, not going to the royal selection, with Amelia back in, like, episode 12, episode 13. And he broke that shit, and Amelia, bro, that was like a very big deal. So imagine like an actual like serious vow or pact. Like if you break that shit, I guess you committed a crime, honestly.
In any case, it was the news of Subaru being able to complete the trial that led Ryuzu to act. But what was most important to notice here was how exactly Ryuzu had referred to herself. She had sworn upon Subaru's promise under the name of Ryuzu Shima, a different name from the Ryuzu we initially met after the trial.
Oh. What? Huh.
If you remember, that one had referred to herself as Ryuzu Bilma.
Wait, why did I not notice that? Wait. Ryuzu Shima. And then this one is Ryuzu
Bilma.
Bilma.
It was a very subtle change that you probably wouldn't have noticed if you weren't paying close attention to the anime.
No, okay, listen, I try my best to pay attention, but there's some shit that will go past my head no matter what, bro. It will just fly by, bro. These little things, man, oh my god.
Now, Garfield's suspicions of Subaru being part of the witch cult wasn't just because of the witch's scent emitting from his body.
Oh.
Although it was rare, Garfield did know of other normal people who possessed a level of miasma similar to Subaru's. So that alone wasn't enough to make him act the way that he did. What was the way that Subaru said he wanted to take the trial.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so it wasn't just the witch's scent. It's the way that he wanted to take the trial. I mean, yeah, that does sound very sus. If you're looking at it from Garfield's perspective, yeah, that's pretty sus. Especially if you're Garfield, because, like, He even said that Subaru has the same look as Roswell, like his eyes are the same as Roswell's. Well, that's not a good thing. We actually don't want that. We actually don't want to be like Roswell, please. Like, but then again, I mean, it seems like we are. It seems like Subaru is going to be partners in crime with Roswell forever, so I don't know.
Subaru was saying that everything was all for the sake of Amelia. Doing the trial in her place was something that he simply felt was best for her. At least that's what he was trying to say anyway. But it was as he said these words that not an ounce of concern could be found. Garfield found everything Subaru was saying to be nothing but empty.
The emotional impact, the way you say things, if you feel something while saying the sentences that you say, that's also very important. I also mentioned this like very long ago. It's not about the information you give, it's how you say it. If you say the information in a certain way, it's gonna look very sus and look very bad. But if you say it in a good way, like an actual like normal way, it'll have a different impact. Like the way that Subaru's saying the information has no emotion, no concern, just empty. Oh my god, what is Return by Death and all these events doing to Subaru's mental state? His mental state must be so fucked up right now. And not in the way that we saw in episode, I don't know, like for example, like episode 13, episode 16, and you know, all those episodes from season 1 or whatever the hell. It seems like this time in season 2, we're looking at a big problem with his mental state when it comes to his emotions and what he feels. Not really him losing it completely and crashing out and all these things. It seems like the thing that we're going to be tackling on this season is Subaru's mental state and, you know, his psychological state with when it comes to his like actually feeling emotions. Yikes.
Devoid of emotion, just like his face when he left the tomb.
Oh my god.
The calm demeanor that Otto had previously called him out on had now proven to be the very thing that caused Garfield to take action against him.
I see,
Ever
yeah.
since leaving the tomb, Subaru's lack of emotion had been the sole reason for every change in this loop. And with the way he was now, Garfield saw no difference between Subaru and Roswell. They both spoke with words that were meant to show compassion for others, but neither showed any interest in anything but themselves.
There it is. Subaru. Oh my god. So the more the Subaru like goes through these like resets and traumatic events, he's gonna like start looking more like Roswell? Oh my god. What if this is Roswell's plan all along? What if Roswell's plan is to have Subaru go through so much fucking pain and suffering and different sequence of events to end up the same way as him? Partners in crime. Ah, hell nah. They are reaching,
this
but...
plus the lingering scent of the witch that led Garfield to the conclusion that Subaru couldn't be trusted.
Whoa!
It also now made sense of why Garfield's attitude changed with every loop. You see, every time Subaru returns by death, the density of miasma being emitted from his body increases even further.
Yeah! Yeah, I definitely remember that. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it was actually mentioned in the anime or I just like read a comment and just stuck with it, but yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, the more he resets, the more he stinks, dude.
So, because the miasma was added
Oh no, it was mentioned in the anime. I'm stupid. Yeah, it was mentioned multiple times by, mainly it was like Bayako, I think.
Thinnest during the first loop, Garfield was more inclined to be accepting of Subaru taking the trial. But it's because that miasma grew with every time he died that the level of distrust that Garfield had towards Subaru increased as well.
Yeah.
Resulting in those significant changes of behavior that Subaru found to be odd. It was also likely what happened with Rem back when he was first starting out at the mansion.
Exactly. You know, I sometimes forget things like these happen, bro. I keep forgetting that the Rem that we know now, man, she's so different. How the fuck? Man, it's so crazy that the type of Rem that we saw in episode 7, bro, is the same Rem that we see now. Like, the change is so crazy. But yeah, it's natural for Garfield to grow even more sus the stronger the witch is set. Every time if Subaru resets, it's gonna get worse.
The difference with her, though, was that she was a bit better when it came to maintaining her composure.
Sorta.
As for Garfield, it was clear that Subaru's relationship with him was only going to get worse the more times he died.
Yep.
So this
Makes
just
sense.
added a brand new layer of complexity to the entire situation. If Garfield's level of hostility increased with every time he returned by death, then it would eventually get to the point where imprisonment wouldn't even be an option.
Yeah.
Instant death was going to be the most likely outcome.
Yo, man.
Making this yet another...
Yo, AniNews, man. What are these? I'm looking, by the way, y'all see, the reason I'm not talking and I'm looking down is because I clearly see some spoiler. Okay. Yo, AniNews, man. I'm gonna need you to calm down with these fucking images, bro. With these clips. Okay, I know okay, so this is a weekly series, I think, he said. So what does he do? I think he does is like, well, like, when the next episode comes out, so what, is he using like clips from the episode that's like currently happening, but he's talking about the recent episode? Yo, man, I'm seeing some things here that I don't think I should be seeing, bro. Come on, man, chill.
Obstacle to add to the ever-expanding list of them.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, altogether we now had Amelia dealing with the trial, Roswell being absolutely useless, Puck being unresponsive, Elsa and the mystery beast tamer attacking the mansion, Frederica's manipulation,
oh my
Petra
god,
getting involved when she doesn't have to, Rem's eternal sleep, and finally Beatrice's association with the gospel.
There's so much happening. Would you really put it like that? There's so much happening in this fucking show right now. Holy shit.
All of which Subaru had no idea how he was going to approach.
All of those things happening at the same fucking time. And Subaru obviously has no idea how to fucking deal with this shit. There's so much... Jesus Christ.
Especially now that he was stuck in this prison. While left alone in the darkness and silence, numerous emotions swirled as Subaru tried to figure out a solution. Various images of people began to emerge in his head.
We did see that.
With each one, so too came a different emotion. There was his love for Amelia, then distrust for Roswell. Remorse for Beatrice, then anger for Garfield. But most importantly, there was his hatred for Elsa.
Goth mommy baddie, but yeah, she's a fucking... She's definitely a situation, yeah.
Her situation was the one that was the most pressing. Since evacuation was no longer a possible option, that meant that Subaru needed to find a way to beat her. But Elsa and the Beast Tamer were opponents that Subaru, Ram, and Frederica wouldn't be able to take on alone.
Yeah.
More combat power would definitely be needed if he was going to beat them in a fight. But the only 3 people who were capable of stepping in were unavailable due to their own circumstances.
How convenient. How fucking convenient. Yep, very convenient. The strongest motherfuckers. Every person that could probably beat Elsa's ass is busy. Obviously, we need this to, you know, for the plot to actually plot, for the story to actually go through. But it's just so funny to me the way that everything is just fucking happening, so no one gets involved. I'm gonna keep saying this shit, bro. Reinhardt, where you at, bro? Yo, man, Subaru should have gotten Reinhardt's number. I know they have no phones, but you know what I mean. Like, bro, there has to be a way to call up Reinhardt, like he's a fucking, I don't know, some like summoning magic or some shit, bro. We need Reinhardt to just like step in, man. Help.
It was a situation to which no matter how much thought was given, no solution could be found.
Yeah.
So eventually those thoughts ended up subsiding, only to be replaced by the grim memories of everyone who's ever died due to his own incompetence.
Yikes.
But when those thoughts of regret subsided as well, what remained was a feeling of isolation that would go to make Subaru's imprisonment one of his worst experiences ever. The loneliness that came from being confined in this darkness and isolation made Subaru yearn for death, much like how he did the last time.
Jesus.
He couldn't help but imagine all the ways in which he could try to end his life, all because of the excruciating pain that came from being helpless and alone. Although he did have his caretaker, they would never actually say a word whenever they came by. And somehow that just went to make Subaru's isolation even worse. It was as if his existence as a person wasn't even being acknowledged. By the time that Otto had arrived to rescue him, Subaru felt as if it had been centuries since he'd heard another person talk.
Because that's another thing that I kind of mentioned. Like, it was like a little like time skip. We saw like we saw everything kind of just pass by, but imagine how long was he really like that, isolated, stuck with his own thoughts? How long? Like hours for sure. But those hours probably felt like fucking days, like fucking centuries to him.
He was so accustomed to only hearing his own breathing and heartbeat that he couldn't even recognize this sound called a voice.
Wow.
Which brings us now to the heartfelt final moments of the episode, all of which was adapted pretty much perfectly. So that was pretty much it for episode 32.
Wow.
As you now know, there was definitely quite a few subtle things worth taking note of here.
Yeah.
So hopefully you enjoyed gaining more context behind these riveting episodes of ReZero.
Yep.
And
thank
if
you.
you did, then feel free to leave a like or comment so that you can help the video to do better.
Thank you, brother.
Anyway, this weekend I'm planning another Isekai Quartet Easter egg video.
Jesus. Isekai Quartet. Alright. Well, yeah, that is it for today's cut content. Yo, AniNews, man. There's some spoilers in here. You know, I don't mind it. Okay, if it's stuff like some scenes like here and there that just sneak in, I don't really mind it. Like, it's not that big of a deal, guys. All right, don't think it's that big of a deal. If it's like some major fucking spoiler, like some crazy shit, then that's where I'm gonna be like, I have to stop it there. I'm gonna be like, all right, bro, what's happening? But all right. Overall, amazing content, bro. Once again, bro, thank you so much, AniNews. You are goated, bro. Thank you for letting me know about these things, bro. Man, what an amazing, bro. This content series, bro. I'm so glad I'm watching it. It just helps me understand the series so much more, bro. I mean, you guys also help me out, so I appreciate y'all too, man. Y'all know that I appreciate y'all a lot for helping me out. Because again, I could try to pay attention as much as possible. There's little subtle details and things that I'll still not understand, and they'll fucking fly by, and I'm like, oh, yup, I don't know what that means. So, anyway, that's enough for today. I keep yapping, right? That's it for today's cut content video, season 2, episode 7. Once again, thank you, AniNews. Shout out to you, man. If y'all enjoyed and you're new, subscribe. Leave a like down below. The full uncut version to all ReZero content will be on Patreon. And yeah, as always, have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. See you guys.